So tonight, residents from the community will get to hear alternatives to incarceration.
Yes. And the reason why it's so important is because, one, that it destroys communities, it destroys people's lives, it impacts our education system, and quite frankly, it impacts our tax system in a way that's almost unaffordable, because we just keep spending money into the same people's lives because we've incarcerated them unnecessarily. By the way, some people belong in jail, and those that do should go. But the vast majority of people who end up there don't belong there, and there are other recourses that we can take to deal with that. Secondly, the reason why it's so important is because a large sector of our population has chosen to politicize the issue and to make the big issue about crime. The big issue of the increase in crime across the nation has been the impacts of COVID. COVID impacted all of us in ways that we never really thought possible because, one, we've never been through a pandemic before, most of us. And so instead of focusing on figuring out what those impacts are and how do we restructure them so that they have a meaningful role in our society, we're just using it as an opportunity to politicize the issue of crime so that other people might empower themselves to be elected. And by the way, mostly where crime happens at doesn't happen in the people who politicize the issues districts. And so it's only for their benefit, and that's sad, and I think we need to, make sure people understand the difference between those two things. So that's what this is about.
And one more question I have for you about bail reform. Can you explain how, from your perspective, that has been successful? I know it's only been about a year, but a lot of people...
Well,
go ahead.
If you look at the numbers of people who don't show up when they should, which is all bail is supposed to do or not do, is ensure that you show up for your court appointment. It's like minimal, maybe 5% or 0.10%. It's very little people who don't show up. And so to restructure a whole system that would incarcerate people simply because they don't have resources to pay bail is not fair. It's, again, costly to governments. And by the way, most local governments, including the county of Erie, have saved significant amount of resources by not incarcerating people just because they can't afford bail.
Thank you.